podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And I just want to open up this podcast episode by saying this very important message. Okay, listen closely. If you say you're going to do something, do it. That's it. That's it. If you can't do it for some unforeseen reason, let somebody know. Let somebody know ahead of when you were supposed to show up. That's it. Easy message, easy to remember, yet something that I feel like people struggle with. And it's certainly something that I struggled with when I was drinking. So, what's everybody else's excuse who aren't drinking? Why? I mean, it's like people don't think about the fact that their actions or lack of action has an impact on anybody else in the world, and how maybe somebody might rearrange their schedule for you, and it's like it doesn't matter. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I get it today. I used to feel like I was in my own little world and thought that my actions didn't impact other people and stuff, and that was a part of my disease. So those people who don't have alcoholism or have this reason for being selfish, I wonder why they're selfish. So anyway, gosh, it's just I think it's there's stress involved, right, with buying and selling a house, and there's a lot of parties involved, and there's lots of things that need to be scheduled, and lots of, when we have to get out of our house, we have to clean the house, we have to get everything prepared for other people to be in our house, and it takes like an hour to get ready for that, and then we leave. I have the impact of being in the car that is difficult with my disability and my chronic pain, and then somebody doesn't show up when they're supposed to is just really, really aggravating. It's really aggravating. So I just wanted to vent. So thanks for being here. And this is the perfect example of what the topic is about today, which is those unseen, invisible battles that we have, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever those battles are within us that are invisible to everybody else, and that they remain invisible unless we open our mouths and talk about it. So we try to sometimes portray this image to each other, like I'm as normal as you are and you're as normal as I am. And breaking news, none of us are normal. None of us are normal. And nobody knows what's going on inside of my body, my heart, my mind, unless I talk about it. That goes with just, you know, it's like if I say I'm going to do something and I can't because I'm sick, nobody else is going to know that I'm sick unless I tell them. So, if I'm suffering from something quietly, nobody's going to know about it. Nobody can help me. Nobody can support me. Nobody um, can do anything if I don't talk about it. My fatigue, my dizziness, my brain fog, all of us who suffer from all of these invisible symptoms, we try to look normal. I don't know why. I don't know why I try to look normal. I don't know why I try to, like, if I don't feel good, why do I pretend like I feel good? Because I just want to set a certain, I don't know, maybe standard for how I present myself. But when we share about these invisible things, from stroke, from, getting sober, recovery, whatever recovery, when I share about those invisible struggles, the heaviest of burdens can be lightened just by naming it out loud. And when we have an opportunity to come together, whether it's like this podcast community, which I'm so appreciative of. I don't even know who all of you are, but I am so appreciative and grateful that you hit play, because it's my chance to speak about things that otherwise I might be silent about. And when I talk about it, I can find some understanding within me. And then when I get to go to support groups, like I went to my favorite stroke support group today, and I got to listen to other people sharing their invisible struggles. And I get to find understanding in them, understanding about myself in them. Um, so an example for me is this dizziness that I have. Like, I always feel, and you guys know who have been listening for a long time, I have a really difficult time explaining what the dizziness feels like, because it's not like your classic, the room is spinning, or I'm off balance, or like there's lots of people with a vestibular disorder where they are rocking. They feel like they're rocking all the time, or feel like things are moving. Some people feel like they don't have a sense of what's up and what's down. Like, I couldn't imagine. Some people feel like they're on a moving dock, on the water. And mine, however, is like dizzy. I always hesitated calling it dizziness, because dizziness seems seems to represent more of like things are moving. And for me, things aren't moving. It's just like the world is foggy. It's like my understanding, my brain trying to understand what I see is not processing. So it's like they call it brain fog when you like are very forgetful, or you can't remember what you're saying. Or I was just talking to my mother-in-law about walking into the other room, and when you get to the other room, you're like, I have no idea why I just went to the other room. That kind of brain fog. This is both that and visual fog. So I can't focus visually on things. So just like when we have the brain fog that causes us to not be able to focus on what we're saying, or it always feels like there's something blocking. I can't hit the save button. It's like everything's very fluid in my brain. Well, that's what my vision is like too, where it's like, I don't know. I've never been able to really explain it, but it feels kind of like I had a few shots of tequila, and visually I just can't focus on things. That's kind of what it feels like. I hate comparing my symptoms to drinking symptoms, But that's what it feels like a lot of times. And that's what drinking does is it kills our brain's ability to function properly. So it would make sense that if my brain is not functioning properly from my stroke, that it is reminiscent of how I felt when I was drinking. So it's like I've said in the morning when I wake up. I think I just said that yesterday when I recorded right after my nap that it feels like a hangover. So I guess now that I'm thinking about it, does make a lot of sense that I could compare the two. So, anyway, I think there's when it comes to like talking about how we're feeling, talking about these invisible symptoms, I think that there's some hesitation because I don't want any pity from anyone. Like, I would love to share with people what I feel like, but I would love to help others see a glimpse of what my reality is like, but yet I don't want to get any sympathy for it. I just want you to know. It's all about like I just want somebody to understand. I just want somebody to understand how I feel. Um and I mean, I think that's across the board in our lives. We just want other people to understand how we feel. And so often, when it comes to things that we're recovering from, whether it's a stroke or cancer or traumatic brain injury or alcoholism, we think that nobody's gonna understand. But the truth is that there are people who understand. It took me 2 years after my stroke to find somebody who understood. And the only way that I found it is that I just kept searching. I kept talking about my symptoms. And the more I talked about them, the more I was finding the right words. Clearly, I still struggle with finding the right words. But the more that I practice talking about my symptoms, the better I can articulate what I'm feeling. And then I can start being able to relate to other people who are feeling the same way. So the more I find words for my symptoms, the more power I take back. The more I feel like I'm in control, not of the symptoms themselves, but but getting help. It was really tough going to doctors in the beginning and trying to explain to them my quote unquote dizziness. I didn't know how, like, I kept saying, it feels like I can't focus mentally or visually. That's what I kept saying. Like early on when I was going to vision therapy, that was how I explained it. I explained it in a way that I can't focus mentally, like my brain can't focus, but visually I can't focus either. And it's easier to call it brain fog, but it seems like more than that. It seems like it's going in two directions. It's the stuff that's coming out of my mouth I can't focus on, and the stuff that's coming in through my eyes I can't focus on. So, I've gone to a couple support groups. So yesterday evening, I had my vestibular disorders from stroke and traumatic brain injury support group. That's a mouthful. But I host that support group. And one of the things that I was talking about, or I wanted to hear other people share about, was when your symptoms flare up, like when you're under stress or when you're trying to push through the difficult stuff with the symptoms and everything, what's your strategy for coping and trying to find that balance between persistence and rest? And right now, I'm in the process of packing up our house, and it's like I really need to find that balance between getting stuff done and resting, because if I push too hard, it's going to backfire on me and I'm not going to be able to do the work that I need to do. And it's going to get really messy really fast. So, this is like where the rubber meets the road, and I have to really pay attention to my self care, and take a nap if I need to take a nap, rest if I need to take a rest, and don't. So I've been pulling back from walking long distances so that I can save those spoons for packing the house. So I'm glad that I've been practicing that whole spoon theory thing, spoon and cup theory, really, to prepare for my daily load over the next 20 days as I'm trying to manage packing the house and stuff like that. So, pacing myself, I still need to do my exercises for my back. And yes, I have still been consistent with that. And I'm happy to report that my back still is continuing to heal, but healing it is, you know. I still have back pain, but it is nothing like it was before. So, those of you who've been listening for a long time, I've been dealing with this for, honestly, my back started hurting after I had my stroke. I got out of the hospital and I was walking Autumn, and she was not yet trained, and she pulled on her leash. She like started running till the leash was taut, and she just ripped muscles from my neck all the way down the right side of my body, down to the bottom of my back. And that's what it felt like, at least. It felt like it just ripped muscles all the way down my back. And then over time, I didn't know what to do to fix it. And then it got to the point where I couldn't move. Like, if I moved a certain way, my back would spasm. So I ended up going to the dry needling, and slowly I've been like doing my exercises every single day. Just like I was doing my push-ups every day. For you lifetime listeners, I was doing push-ups for a long time. I have switched from push-ups to doing these other exercises for my back. So I keep doing it and things keep getting better. And I think that slow progress is like, that's my life. Everything is slow progress. So I need to handle my moving in the same way. Slow progress. Like, I'm one to, as soon as I start packing, I want to pack 10 boxes a day. I can't pack 10 boxes a day. I need to balance like organizing, packing, making phone calls, and all of that stuff. So it's a lot. It's certainly a lot. And I think coping with all of this stress and this activity that I have ahead of me, um, again, I need to talk about it. I can't pretend like it's fine. I can handle it all. It's fine. It's fine. Like, I need to talk about it. And one of the ways that I do, I come here and talk about what's in front of me and how I'm going to choose the tools that are going to keep me moving forward. Like, choose the tools in my program that keep me moving forward, and moving forward one step at a time, like that pacing stuff. So, that's what's going on. And today, today was just we had an appointment for some of the process of selling the house, and we had to get out of the house for people to come here, and then they never showed up and didn't say anything. And it was really agitating, especially when I'm like trying to manage packing all these boxes and stuff like that. Like there's a lot to do. It's not easy to pack our house up and get in the car and just disappear from our home for 3 hours for no reason at all. So that's why I opened up the episode by just reminding you that if you say you're going to do something, just do it. Just do it. If you're not going to do it, give some prior notice. That's all. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. So, and then remember, like, just because these symptoms and these things in our lives are invisible, it doesn't mean that they're insignificant. And I think that that's what gets mixed up inside of me sometimes is that, well, that person had a stroke and they can't use their right arm, okay? Um, so they deserve more care than I do. They deserve because you can see what's wrong with them. They need to have the physical therapy. They need this and that. Well, just because my disability is invisible to everyone, I mean, literally, it's invisible to everyone. There's no proof that I have it. There's been some tests that show that there's something wrong with me, but there's nothing that you can look at in my body with some sort of x-ray and be like, there it is, that's the problem right there. So just because it's invisible doesn't mean that it's insignificant, and I think it's important for us to remember that. And that's even if you haven't suffered a stroke. And even if you're not in recovery for anything, just in life in general, it's important for us to recognize that emotional care, that mental stability, like our spiritual fitness, all of that stuff that we can't see, it is so significant. It impacts every facet of our lives. If we can't stay healthy on the inside, and my sobriety has done a great job teaching me how to surrender and not try to be superwoman. But progress, not perfection. I'm always striving to be superwoman. And so the pacing and the patience and the persistence, it's hard for me. Because when my meter is running low, when I start running out of spoons, when my cup starts to empty, there's no proof of it. Nobody can see it. Nobody knows, even me, that my meter's running low and I'm going to run out of energy. I'm going to run out of hope. I'm gonna run out of like emotional, like the ability to emotionally handle what's in front of me if I don't take care of myself. So, um, that's what I've got today. Invisible doesn't mean insignificant. So take care of ourselves. And that's all. That's what I've got for you today. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.